Hello fellow time travelers. Tonight we step softly into the star-dappled world of Native American campsites, where the air hums with secrets of the best sleep in history. Picture yourself crouched by a crackling fire, the scent of pine and earth wrapping around you like a warm shawl. The sky above is a glittering quilt of stars, and somewhere nearby, a wolf howls just to remind you, you're not in your cozy 21st century bed anymore. Honestly, you probably won't sleep in this wilderness without a few clever tricks up your sleeve. But don't worry, the Native Americans mastered sleep in ways that'll make your memory foam mattress jealous. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video, subscribe, and ring that bell so you'll always know when we are off to a new time traveling adventure together. In return, I promise to stand out by offering you the most interesting and valuable content guaranteed to help you drift off to a peaceful sound sleep. Drop a comment with your location and local time. Let's see who's time traveling with us tonight. Now, turn off the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's time traveling journey together. You're sprawled on a soft bed of pine needles, the ground beneath you cool but not cold as the fire's glow dances on your face. Native Americans, from the Lakota of the Great Plains to the Cherokee of the Southeast, knew that where you slept was half the battle for rest. They didn't just plop down anywhere. Oh no, they were picky, and for good reason. A poorly chosen spot could mean a night of shivers or, worse, an unexpected visit from a curious bear. Campsites were chosen with care, often near water for its soothing burble but far enough to avoid dampness. The ground was cleared of rocks and roots, sometimes softened with layers of grass or hides. Historians agree that tribes like the Navajo often elevated their sleeping platforms slightly, using wooden frames or packed earth to stay dry and insulated. This wasn't just comfort, it was survival. Now, imagine you're picking your spot. You'd avoid low valleys where cold air pools, opting instead for a gentle slope with a view of the stars. The stars weren't just pretty, they were clocks and calendars. Tribes like the Pawnee tracked constellations to time their sleep, aligning rest with nature's rhythms. You'd feel the earth's pulse under you, steady and alive. And here's a quirky tidbit. Some Plains tribes believed sleeping with your head pointed east welcomed the sunrise's energy for a refreshed morning. Try that tonight and see if you wake up feeling like a warrior. But it's not just the ground game. You're surrounded by intentional details. The fire's placed just right, close enough for warmth, far enough to avoid smoke in your lungs. You'd laugh at modern campers fumbling with their fancy tents when a well-placed lean-to of branches and hides could block the wind and trap heat. And don't even get me started on the genius of orienting your bed to avoid morning glare. Native Americans were basically the OG interior designers of the wilderness. As you settle in, you notice the quiet rituals. Someone's arranging stones around the fire, not just for aesthetics but to radiate heat through the night. You're handed a small bundle of sage to tuck near your head. Spoiler alert, it's not just for vibes, but we'll get to that later. For now, you're sinking into the moment, the stars winking like they're in on the secret. Joke's on you if you thought this was just camping. This is sleep engineering, honed over centuries. The air's crisp, your body's heavy, and you're already wondering if you can replicate this back home. FYI, your landlord might not love the fire pit idea. You're not alone in this campsite, either. The community's here, their soft murmurs blending with the night. Sleep wasn't just personal, it was a shared act of trust. You'd feel safe knowing someone's keeping watch, maybe humming a low tune. Historians still wonder how much this communal vibe deepens sleep quality, but you're starting to get it. The earth, the stars, the fire, it's all working together, and you're just along for the ride. Your eyelids droop as the fire crackles, and you realize this is only the beginning of what these sleep masters had up their sleeves. You're still nestled in that starlit campsite, the fire's embers glowing like tiny suns, but now a new ritual catches your eye. A figure moves gracefully, waving a bundle of smoldering herbs through the air, trailing wisps of fragrant smoke. You're about to dive into the world of smudging, a sacred Native American practice that wasn't just spiritual mumbo-jumbo, it was a sleep hack that could make your lavender diffuse a blush. The scent of sage and sweetgrass fills your nose, and you feel your shoulders loosen, as if the day's worries are hitching a ride on the smoke and drifting away. Smudging, used by tribes like the Lakota and Apache, was a ceremonial cleansing that doubled as a pre-sleep ritual. Picture yourself holding a tightly bound bundle of white sage, its tip glowing red as you fan the smoke over your body. The idea was to clear negative energy. Think of it as a spiritual shower before bed. Historians note that smudging often preceded sleep, especially after a long day of hunting or storytelling. The smoke wasn't just symbolic, it had practical perks. Sage, for instance, has antimicrobial properties, potentially reducing airborne germs in a crowded teepee. You're basically sleeping in the cleanest air this side of 1000 BC. Now, you're invited to join in. You wave the smudge stick, the smoke curling like a lazy river around you. It's not just sage. Some tribes, like the Ojibwe, mixed in sweetgrass for its calming vanilla-like scent or cedar for grounding vibes. You're starting to get why this feels like a warm hug from the forest itself. And here's a zany detail. Some Plains tribes believed the smoke carried prayers to the spirits, ensuring dreams free of mischief. Ever wonder if your nightmares are just unpaid spiritual parking tickets? Smudging might be your ticket out. The sensory hit is undeniable. The smoke's warmth brushes your skin, its scent sinks deep into your lungs, and the soft chant of the smudger, maybe a medicine woman, hums in your ears. You're not just relaxed, you're halfway to dreamland already. Modern science backs this up. Inhaling certain plant compounds, like those in sage, can lower cortisol levels, easing you into rest. Native Americans didn't need a lab to know this. They'd been running their own sleep experiments for centuries. Joke's on us for thinking aromatherapy was a new invention. But it's not all about the herbs. You notice the deliberate pace of the ritual. There's no rushing, no checking a smartphone mid-smudge. The slowness forces you to breathe deeply, syncing your body with the night's rhythm. You're reminded of that campsite from last night, where every detail was intentional. This is no different. The smudging happens in a circle, reinforcing the communal bond that makes sleep feel safe. You're not just cleansing yourself, you're part of something bigger, like a cosmic group hug. As the smoke fades, you settle onto your pine needle bed, the sage scent lingering on your clothes. You're struck by how personal this feels. Some tribes, like the Cherokee, smudged their sleeping areas to ward off bad dreams, believing the smoke created a protective barrier. Historians still debate whether this was purely spiritual or a clever way to mask human scents from nocturnal predators. Either way, you're sleeping like a baby knowing nothing's sneaking up on you, except maybe a cheeky raccoon. You can't help but chuckle at the thought of explaining smudging to your coworkers. Yeah, I waved some burning sage around my cubicle for better naps. Good luck with that HR meeting. But as you lie there, the fire's soft crackle mixing with the herbal haze, you get it. This isn't just a ritual, it's a mindset. You're letting go, trusting the night, and sinking into sleep that's deeper than your Wi-Fi router's dreams. The stars above seem to nod in approval, and you're already curious about what other tricks these sleep geniuses have in store. Either way, you're grateful for the invisible shield as you lie back, the stars above twinkling like they're cheering you on. The smudging's left you calm, your mind quieter than a city street at dawn. You're starting to see why Native Americans didn't need melatonin gummies. This was their secret source for sleep that could make a bear jealous. You're still in the smudging circle, the fire's glow casting shadows that dance like spirits themselves. The ritual's not just about the smoke, it's the intention behind it. You're told to focus on releasing the day's burdens, maybe that argument with your hunting partner or the stress of tracking a deer that outsmarted you. The smoke's a reminder to let go, and you're surprised how much lighter you feel. It's like decluttering your brain before bed, something your therapist back home would probably charge extra for. Tribes like the Navajo often paired smudging with quiet reflection, a proto-meditation that set the stage for deep rest. The sage's sharp, earthy scent is like a wake-up call to your nose, but in a soothing way, like a friend who knows exactly when to hush. Sweetgrass, when it's used, adds a sweet, almost dessert-like note that makes you smile despite yourself. You're handed a small braid of it to keep near your sleeping spot, and you're told it invites good dreams. The communal vibe is key, too. You're not smudging alone. Others join in, their movements synchronized like a sleepy ballet. This isn't just about you, it's about the group's peace. The shared ritual reinforces trust, and you feel safer knowing the whole camp's vibes are cleansed. Jokes on modern insomniacs who think a solo lavender spray can match this collective calm. You're starting to suspect that half the power of smudging is this sense of belonging, like being tucked in by an entire tribe. As you settle back, you notice the practical side again. The smoke's faint haze might even be keeping mosquitoes at bay, another reason to thank the ancestors for their multitasking genius. You're reminded of that starlit campsite from before, where every choice was deliberate. Smudging fits right in, a bridge between the physical and spiritual that's got you sinking deeper into your bed of hides. Your breaths are slower now, each one pulling you closer to sleep. You're not just relaxed, you're practically a puddle of calm, and you're only 2 steps into this journey. Imagine what's next. The fire's embers pulse like a heartbeat, and you're still basking in the sage-scented calm of that smudging ritual. But now, your attention shifts to the ground beneath you, where a thick, shaggy buffalo hide awaits. You're about to discover how Native Americans turned animal pelts into the ultimate sleep setup, making your memory foam pillow look like a sad pancake. As you sink into the hide's warmth, you realize this isn't just bedding, it's a masterclass in comfort and survival, crafted from the land itself. You're lying on a buffalo hide, its coarse fur surprisingly soft against your skin, like a hug from a very large, very deceased friend. Tribes like the Sioux and Cheyenne didn't just toss any old pelt on the ground. Buffalo hides were prized for their insulation, keeping you toasty even when the night air dips to teeth-chattering levels. Historians note that a single hide could be layered with others or stuffed with grass for extra cushioning, creating a bed that rivaled anything in a medieval king's castle. The hide's natural oils repelled water, so you're not waking up in a soggy mess if the ground's a bit damp. You're starting to think your camping gear back home needs a serious upgrade. As you settle in, you notice the hide's been tanned to perfection, soft but sturdy, with no funky smells. Tanning was an art form, often done by women who soaked hides in plant solutions or even brains, yes, brains, to make them pliable. You're glad you didn't have to help with that part, but you're reaping the benefits. The hide molds to your body, cradling you like a custom mattress. And here's a quirky tidbit. Some Plains tribes sewed hides into sleeping sacks, like the world's coziest burrito wrapper. You're tempted to try this at home, but your cat might claim it first. The sensory experience is unreal. The hide's warmth seeps into your bones, chasing away the chill of the prairie night. You hear the faint rustle of fur as you shift, blending with the fire's crackle and the distant hoot of an owl. It's like nature's ASMR, and you're the VIP guest. You're reminded of that starlit campsite from earlier, where every detail was intentional. The buffalo hide fits right in, a testament to how tribes used every part of the animal. Jokes on modern minimalists who think less is more. These folks knew more buffalo is better. But it's not just about warmth. You're struck by the hide's weight, heavy enough to feel like a protective shield. Historians still wonder if this heft helped tribes feel secure, like a weighted blanket for the soul. Some tribes, like the Blackfoot, positioned their hides in teepees to trap heat, creating a microclimate that could make a polar bear jealous. You're also noticing the communal angle again. Hides were often shared, with families piling together for warmth and bonding. You're half expecting someone to snuggle up and start snoring, but for now, you're savoring the solo coziness. Now, let's talk versatility. You're told these hides doubled as blankets, cloaks, or even sleds in winter. Talk about a multi-tool for the Stone Age. Some tribes added decorative quills or paints, making their bedding a work of art. You're imagining your own hide with a cool wolf design, though your art skills might produce something closer to a derpy dog. Either way, you're sinking deeper into this furry cocoon, your body relaxing in ways your office chair never allows. The hide's texture, the fire's glow, the night's quiet, it's all conspiring to lull you into a sleep so deep, you might wake up in a different century. As you drift, you can't help but chuckle at the thought of explaining this to your friends. Yeah, I slept on a buffalo hide, and it was basically a spa day. They'd probably think you're nuts, but you know better. This isn't just bedding, it's a lifestyle, one that's got you questioning every sleep choice you've ever made. The stars above seem to wink, as if they've known this secret all along. Your eyelids are heavy, but you're already curious about what's next in this sleep hack saga. You're still sunk deep in that buffalo hide, its warmth wrapping you like a furry fortress, but now a soft melody drifts through the campsite, pulling you toward a new layer of Native American sleep magic. You're surrounded by tribal members, their voices weaving ancient songs and stories that feel like a lullaby spun from the earth itself. These aren't just bedtime tales, they're a time-tested hack for soothing the mind and guiding you into the kind of sleep that makes your snooze button obsolete. As the first notes hit, you're already melting into the rhythm of the night. Imagine you're sitting cross-legged by the fire, the glow painting everyone's faces in flickering gold. A grandmother begins a low, hypnotic chant, her voice steady as a river. It's not just noise. Tribes like the Iroquois and Hopi use songs and oral stories to calm restless minds before sleep. Historians note that these lullabies often recounted creation myths or animal tales, embedding lessons while lulling listeners into rest. The song's repetitive cadence, much like a modern white noise machine, slowed heartbeats and eased tension. You're feeling it now, your breaths sinking with the chant's rise and fall, like you're riding a gentle wave toward dreamland. The sensory pull is undeniable. The singer's voice vibrates in your chest, blending with the fire's crackle and the rustle of leaves overhead. Some tribes, like the Lakota, paired songs with soft drum beats, mimicking the earth's pulse. You're handed a small rattle to shake along, and it's oddly satisfying, like popping bubble wrap but with spiritual flair. Here's an oddball fact. Some Navajo lullabies were believed to invite protective spirits, ensuring kids, and you, slept without fear of wandering ghosts. You're half hoping for a spectral babysitter to tuck you in tonight. Now, let's talk stories. The grandmother shifts to a tale about a clever coyote outwitting a grumpy bear. It's not just entertainment, it's a mental wind down. These stories, often told in a monotone to avoid overstimulation, were like Netflix's sleep mode for the pre-electric era. You're chuckling at Coyote's antics, but your eyelids are drooping. Joke's on you if you thought you'd stay awake through this. It's like being hypnotized by a campfire TED Talk. Historians still debate whether these tales were purely for sleep or also for passing down survival skills, but you're too cozy to care. You're just happy to be here, wrapped in the hide from last night's lesson, feeling the smudging's calm lingering in your bones. The communal vibe seals the deal. You're not listening alone. Kids are curled up nearby, warriors are nodding off, and even the dogs seem to be snoring. This shared storytelling knits the group together, making sleep a collective act of trust. You're reminded of that starlit campsite, where every detail built toward rest. The songs and stories are no different, a bridge between the day's chaos and the night's peace. You're starting to suspect that modern solo bedtime routines are missing this magic. Imagine trying to pitch a group sing-along to your roommates. As the story wraps, the grandmother's voice softens, trailing off like a fading breeze. You're handed a small woven blanket to pull over your hide, a callback to the bedding genius you've already mastered. The fire's down to embers, but the melody lingers in your head, looping like a catchy song you don't mind being stuck on. You're sinking deeper, the world blurring at the edges. And here's a light jab. If you think your podcast sleep playlist is cutting edge, these folks were dropping beats for better sleep centuries before your AirPods were a twinkle in a tech bro's eye. You can't help but smile at the thought of recreating this at home. Hey, Siri, sing me a coyote myth in a soothing monotone. Yeah, that'd go over well. But as you lie there, the stars peeking through the teepee's smoke hole, you get it. This isn't just about sleep, it's about connection to the tribe, the land, and the stories that hold it all together. Your body's heavy, your mind's quiet, and you're already wondering what other sleep tricks these masters have up their sleeves. The night hums softly, and you're drifting, carried by the echo of a song older than time. The echo of last night's lullaby still hums in your ears as you blink awake, the dawn barely kissing the horizon. You're still cocooned in that buffalo hide, the smudging's faint sage scent clinging to your hair, but now your gaze lifts to the sky, where the moon hangs like a silver coin. You're about to unravel how Native Americans sync their sleep with the lunar cycle, a rhythm so precise it makes your smartwatch look like a sundial. As you watch the moon's soft glow, you feel the pull of a sleep hack that's less about gadgets and more about the cosmos itself. You're sitting up now, the campsite stirring as a tribal elder points to the waxing crescent overhead. Tribes like the Anasazi and Lakota didn't just admire the moon, they lived by it. Historians confirm that many Native American groups tracked lunar phases to time their sleep, believing the moon's cycles influenced rest and dreams. A full moon might mean shorter sleep for hunting or ceremonies, while the dark new moon called for deeper, restorative rest. You're starting to feel like you're in a cosmic sleep lab, with the moon as your head scientist. Right now, the crescent suggests a gentle build-up to activity, so you're encouraged to ease into longer sleeps to store energy. The logic is simple but brilliant. You're told to watch the moon each night, letting its phases guide your bedtime. During the waxing phase, you might stay up later, sharing stories like last night's coyote tale. But as the moon wanes, you're nudged toward earlier bedtimes, your body syncing with the fading light. It's like nature's dimmer switch, and you're already noticing how your internal clock feels less frazzled. Here's a zany detail. Some tribes, like the Hopi, believed the full moon could stir restless spirits, so they'd sleep closer together for protection. You're chuckling at the thought of your neighbors crowding into your bed during a supermoon. The sensory experience is subtle but powerful. The moon's cool light bathes the campsite, softening the edges of the world. You hear a soft chant praising the lunar cycle, its rhythm steady as a heartbeat. It's not just about timing, there's a spiritual layer. The moon was seen as a grandmother, watching over the tribe's rest. You're starting to get why this feels so grounding, like you're part of a bigger story. Historians still wonder if this lunar sinking improved sleep quality or just reflected practical survival, but as you lie back, you're leaning toward both. Your body's easing into a rhythm that feels older than your Wi-Fi router. Now, picture the practical side. You're shown a simple lunar calendar, sticks arranged in a circle, each one marking a phase. It's not rocket science, but it's effective. You're tempted to try this at home, though your HA might frown at a stick circle in your backyard. Jokes on modern sleep trackers that buzz you awake. Native Americans had the moon doing that job for free. You're also noticing the communal angle again, like the smudging and storytelling before. The whole tribe follows the moon's cues, creating a shared sleep schedule that makes you feel less like a lone insomniac tossing in the dark. As you settle back onto your hide, the moon's glow feels like a gentle hand on your forehead. You're reminded of that starlit campsite where every choice was deliberate, from the fire's placement to the song's cadence. This lunar rhythm is no different, weaving you into the land's pulse. Your breath slow, matching the night's quiet tempo. And here's a light jab. If you think your blue light blocking glasses are high-tech, try sleeping under a moon that's been fine-tuning human rest since 10,000 BC. You're sinking deeper, the world softening around you, and you're already curious about the next trick in this sleep hack arsenal. You can't help but grin at the thought of explaining this to your friends. Yeah, I'm syncing my naps with the moon now, super chill. They'd probably stage an intervention, but you know better. This isn't just about sleep, it's about trusting the sky to guide you. The stars twinkle like they're in on the plan, and your eyelids grow heavy. The moon's still there, a quiet sentinel, and you're drifting, carried by a rhythm that's been soothing souls for centuries. The night feels alive, and you're right at its heart. The moon's soft glow still lingers in your mind as you stir on your buffalo hide, the campsite hushed under a pre-dawn sky. A faint herbal scent wafts over, pulling you toward a new Native American sleep hack that's about to make your chamomile tea look like amateur hour. You're handed a steaming clay cup filled with a mysterious brew, its warmth seeping into your palms. You're diving into the world of herbal teas, where tribes like the Cherokee and Navajo brewed plant-based elixirs to coax the deepest, dreamiest sleep. As you take a cautious sip, you realize this isn't just a drink, it's liquid lullaby, steeped in centuries of wisdom. You're sitting by the fire again, the embers casting a cozy glow as an elder explains the brew. This isn't your corner store tea bag nonsense. Tribes crafted blends from wild plants like passionflower, valerian root, and cedar tips, each chosen for its sleep-inducing powers. Historians confirm that herbal remedies were a cornerstone of Native American medicine, often sipped before bed to calm the mind and body. Passionflower, used by the Cherokee, was like nature's Valium, easing anxiety without the next-day fog. You're tasting it now, its slightly bitter tang softened by a hint of honey, and you feel your shoulders drop like they've just clocked out for the night. The sensory hit is immediate. The tea's warmth spreads through your chest, like a hug from the inside out. The aroma, earthy, with a whisper of cedar, mixes with the fire's smoky scent, creating a cocoon of calm. You're told to sip slowly, letting the ritual itself slow your racing thoughts. Here's an outlandish trivia question. Did you know some tribes believed cedar tea could summon protective dreams? Answer: yep, and you're half hoping for a dream where you're a fearless warrior instead of, say, forgetting your lines in a work presentation. The tea's working fast, your eyelids already flirting with a nap. But it's not just about the plants. You're learning the prep process, which is a ritual in itself. You're shown how the Navajo crushed dried herbs with a stone mortar, releasing their oils like a prehistoric aromatherapy session. The act was deliberate, almost meditative, forcing you to focus on the moment. You're starting to see why this beats chugging a soda before bed. There's intention here, like the smudging and lunar syncing you've already mastered. Jokes on modern sleep aids that come with a side of jitters. These teas were all natural and side-effect free, unless you count really good dreams as a problem. The communal vibe weaves through again. You're not sipping alone. Others gather, passing cups and sharing quiet murmurs. This isn't just about sleep, it's about bonding, like a tribal version of a coffee break, but for shut-eye. Historians still wonder if these tea rituals doubled as social glue, strengthening trust before the tribe bunked down together. You're feeling it now, the warmth of the tea and the group's presence making you feel safe, like you're wrapped in that buffalo hide from earlier. Your body's sinking, your mind's quieting, and you're starting to suspect this brew could solve half your life's problems. Now, picture the practical side. You're told these plants were foraged with care, often under specific moons for maximum potency, another nod to that lunar wisdom. The elder chuckles, saying you'd need to learn the land's secrets to find the best valerian. You're imagining yourself stumbling through the woods, probably picking poison ivy by mistake. But here, the expertise is humbling, and the tea's effects are undeniable. Your limbs feel heavy, like they're ready to clock out for the night. And here's a light jab. If you think your overpriced wellness tea is fancy, try a brew that's been perfecting sleep since 1000 BC. As you drain the last sip, the empty cup feels like a trophy. The fire's glow dims, and you settle back, the tea's warmth lingering like a promise. You're reminded of the smudging's calm, the hide's comfort, the lullaby's hum, all building toward this moment of pure relaxation. The stars peek through the teepee's smoke hole, and you're drifting, carried by the tea's gentle pull. You can't help but smirk at the thought of pitching this to your barista. Make it quick, and make it sacred. Yeah, good luck. But for now, you're sinking into the night, ready for whatever sleep hack comes next. The herbal tea's warmth still lingers in your chest, its earthy aftertaste fading as you sink deeper into your buffalo hide. The campsite's quiet now, save for the soft creak of leather and wood around you. You're inside a teepee, its conical frame looming like a guardian in the starlight, and you're about to discover how this iconic structure wasn't just shelter, it was a Native American sleep hack designed to cradle you into the kind of rest that makes your box spring jealous. As you trace the teepee's poles with your eyes, you feel the air shift, cool but not chilly, and you're already wondering how you'll pitch this setup to your landlord. You're lying on your hide, the teepee's buffalo skin walls glowing faintly from the fire outside. Tribes like the Lakota and Cheyenne engineered teepees for mobility and comfort, but their sleep benefits were pure genius. Historians note that teepees were built to regulate temperature, tightly sealed in winter to trap heat, with adjustable flaps in summer to catch breezes. Right now, the flaps are cracked just enough to let in a whisper of night air, keeping the space fresh without turning you into a popsicle. You're starting to see why this beats your stuffy apartment, where ventilation means a wobbly fan and a prayer. The sensory experience is a masterclass in coziness. The teepee's walls muffle the wind's howl, but you still hear its soft hum, like nature's white noise. The leather smells faintly of smoke and earth, a callback to the smudging ritual you loved. Inside, the space feels intimate yet open, with shadows dancing on the walls like a private light show. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some Plains tribes arranged their teepees in a circle, with doors facing east to greet the sunrise, believing it energized sleepers for the day. You're tempted to try this with your bed, though your roommate might question the feng shui overhaul. Now, let's talk design smarts. You're shown how the teepee's conical shape deflects wind, keeping it steady even in a prairie gale. The poles, often pine or cedar, are anchored deep, creating a frame that's both sturdy and sacred. You're told the Lakota saw the teepee as a reflection of the cosmos, its circular base mirroring the Earth, its peak reaching for the stars. It's not just architecture, it's philosophy, and you're feeling oddly profound as you snuggle deeper into your hide. Jokes on modern tiny houses that claim back to basics. These teepees were the original minimalist chic, with better sleep perks. The practical side shines through. You notice the fire pit's central placement, its smoke rising cleanly through the top vent. This keeps the air clear while radiating warmth, like a prehistoric radiator. The hide walls are layered for insulation, and you're marveling at how toasty you feel without a single electric blanket. Historians still debate whether teepees' sleep benefits came more from their design or the rituals inside, but you're voting for both. You're also noticing the communal vibe again. Families sleep together here, their breaths syncing like a sleepy orchestra. It's a far cry from your solo Netflix and nap routine, and you're starting to miss this closeness. As you shift, the hide crinkles softly, and you catch a whiff of the cedar tea from earlier. The teepee's embrace feels like an extension of the lunar rhythms and smudging calm you've learned, all working to lull you into rest. Your body's heavy, your mind's drifting, and you're chuckling at the thought of assembling a teepee in your backyard. Honey, I'm home, and I brought 20 poles. Yeah, that'd go over well. But here, it's perfection. The air's just right, the walls seem to hum with stories, and you're sinking into a sleep that feels earned. And here's a light jab. If you think your air-conditioned bedroom is peak comfort, try a teepee that's been outsmarting the elements since 1000 BC. You're half dreaming already, the teepee's shadows blurring into visions of stars and buffalo. The night feels alive, like it's holding you as gently as the structure around you. You're reminded of the songs and teas, the moon's guidance, all building toward this moment of pure, unhurried rest. The world outside can wait. For now, you're home in this leather cocoon, ready for whatever sleep hack comes next. The stars wink through the vent, and you're drifting, carried by the teepee's quiet strength. You're still nestled in the teepee's cozy embrace, the faint glow of the fire outside casting a warm halo through the leather walls. The air carries a hint of cedar from that dreamy tea, and your buffalo hide feels like an old friend. But now, your eyes catch a delicate web of sinew and feathers dangling above you, a dream catcher, its beads glinting in the dim light. You're about to explore how Native Americans, especially the Ojibwe, used these iconic creations to guard their sleep, ensuring nights free of bad dreams and full of gentle rest. As you stare at its intricate weave, you feel a quiet calm settle in, like the night itself is promising to play nice. You're lying back, the dream catcher swaying slightly in the teepee's draft. The Ojibwe, who originated this tradition around 500 AD, believed dream catchers filtered out nightmares, letting only good dreams slip through their web. Historians note that these weren't just pretty decorations, they were spiritual tools, often hung above sleeping areas to protect the vulnerable, especially children. The web, modeled after a spider's, symbolized life's interconnectedness, while feathers guided dreams to the sleeper like a cosmic mail delivery. You're starting to feel like your brain's getting a VIP pass to dreamland, and you're not mad about it. The sensory details pull you in. The dream catcher's feathers, maybe owl or eagle, brush the air, soft as a whisper. The sinew web, stretched tight across a willow hoop, hums faintly when you tap it, like a guitar string tuned to serenity. You're told to focus on its center, where bad dreams supposedly get trapped. Here's an oddball fact. Some tribes believed the morning sun burned away the caught nightmares, resetting the dream catcher for the next night. You're chuckling at the thought of your own nightmares, probably about missing a deadline, getting zapped like bugs in a cosmic bug zapper. Now, picture the ritual. You're shown how an elder might bless the dream catcher, smudging it with sage, yep, that's sage again, to activate its power. The act is slow, deliberate, like the tea brewing you learned earlier. You're invited to touch the beads, maybe turquoise or bone, and set an intention for peaceful sleep. It's not just superstition, it's focus, a way to quiet your mind before bed. Historians still wonder if dream catchers worked more through belief or by giving sleepers a tangible anchor for calm. You're leaning toward both, especially as your eyelids start drooping, the teepee's warmth wrapping you like a second skin. The communal thread runs deep here, too. You're not the only one with a dream catcher overhead. Kids nearby have smaller ones, their feathers tied with bright thread. It's a shared shield, like the lunar rhythms and storytelling you've come to love. You're reminded of the teepee's design, built for collective rest, and you feel that same safety now. Jokes on modern sleep apps that promise customized calm. These dream catchers were bespoke, crafted with love and purpose. You're imagining trying to DIY one at home, though your craft skills might produce something closer to a cat toy than a spiritual masterpiece. The practical side is subtle but clever. You notice the dream catcher's placement, high enough to catch the teepee's rising air, where it sways gently, almost hypnotically. Its soft motion could lull you to sleep on its own, like a mobile for grown-ups. And let's not ignore the placebo effect. Believing in its power might just be enough to keep those 3 a.m. worries at bay. You're sinking deeper into your hide, the dream catcher's silhouette blurring as your eyes grow heavy. And here's a light jab. If you think your weighted eye mask is high-tech, try a dream catcher that's been filtering nightmares since 500 AD. As you drift, the teepee feels like a sanctuary, the dream catcher its quiet sentinel. You're reminded of the smudging's calm, the tea's warmth, the lullaby's hum, all layering into this moment of pure relaxation. You can't help but smirk at the thought of explaining this to your coworkers. Yeah, I hung a dream catcher over my bed, nightmares cancelled. They'd probably roll their eyes, but you know better. This isn't just decor, it's a promise of peace, woven into the night itself. The stars peek through the teepee's vent, and you're slipping into sleep, carried by the dream catcher's gentle guard. You're still drifting in the teepee's warm embrace, the dream catcher above you swaying like a silent promise of sweet dreams. The faint scent of sage lingers, and your buffalo hide cradles you like a loyal steed. But now, a new ritual beckons. Outside, steam rises from a dome-shaped structure of bent willow and hides. You're about to step into a sweat lodge, a sacred Native American practice that's not just about cleansing the body but also paving the way for the deepest sleep you've ever chased. As you crawl toward the lodge's low entrance, the air grows heavy with heat and possibility, and you're wondering if you're ready for this level of zen. You're inside now, crouched on a bed of sage and cedar boughs, the lodge's dark interior lit only by glowing stones in a central pit. Tribes like the Lakota and Navajo used sweat lodges for purification, often before major events or, crucially, to prepare for restful sleep. Historians confirm that these ceremonies, dating back centuries, were believed to release physical and spiritual toxins, leaving participants relaxed and ready for profound rest. The heat wraps you like a blanket, and you feel your muscles unclench, as if they've finally been given permission to stand down. You're starting to think your hot yoga class could learn a thing or two from this setup. The sensory overload is intense but soothing. Steam rises as water's poured over the hot stones, filling the air with a woody, herbal mist that coats your lungs. You hear a low chant, its rhythm steady as a heartbeat, guiding you to breathe deeply despite the heat. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some tribes believed the steam carried prayers to the spirits, ensuring protection during sleep. You're half hoping your prayer for a nightmare-free night gets express delivery. The lodge's walls, made of layered hides, trap the heat, creating a womb-like cocoon that's equal parts intense and comforting. You're sweating buckets, but it's oddly satisfying, like wringing out the day's stress. Now, let's talk about the process. You're told to focus on the heat, letting it melt away worries, maybe that missed hunt or the fear of a coming storm. The elder leading the ceremony sprinkles more water, and the steam thickens, like a fog of pure calm. This isn't just physical, it's mental prep for sleep. Historians still debate whether sweat lodges improved sleep through relaxation or by fostering a spiritual reset, but you're feeling both. Your body's loose, your mind's quiet, and you're starting to suspect this is what detox was always meant to feel like. Jokes on modern saunas that charge you $50 for a session. These lodges were free, sacred, and came with a side of soul cleansing. The communal vibe is strong, as always. You're not alone. Others sit in the circle, their breaths syncing with yours. This shared sweat binds you, like the storytelling and tea rituals before. You're reminded of the teepee's collective warmth, the dreamcatcher's guard, all building toward rest. The elder's voice softens, urging you to release what no longer serves you. You're letting go of that 21st century stress, and it feels like dropping a backpack full of rocks. As the ceremony winds down, you crawl out, the cool night air hitting your skin like a gentle slap. You're exhausted but light, like you've been reborn as a slightly sweatier version of yourself. Back in the teepee, you collapse onto your hide, the sweat lodge's effects lingering like a warm echo. Your body's heavy, your pulse slow, and you're sinking fast. The dream catcher above seems to nod in approval, and you catch a whiff of cedar from the lodge's boughs. And here's a light jab. If you think your fancy spa day is relaxing, try a sweat lodge that's been melting stress since 1000 BC. You're chuckling at the thought of pitching this to your gym buddies. Yeah, I sweated out my soul for better sleep. They'd probably faint before the first steam. But for now, you're drifting, the night wrapping you like a soft promise, ready for the next sleep hack to carry you deeper. The sweat lodge's warmth still hums in your bones as you settle back into the teepee, your buffalo hide welcoming you like a trusted confidant. The dream catcher sways above, and the faint cedar scent from your herbal tea lingers in the air. But now, you notice the closeness of the others around you, family, friends, even a snoring elder just a few feet away. You're about to dive into the Native American practice of communal sleeping, a sleep hack that turned rest into a bonding ritual, making your solo bedroom feel like a lonely island. As you nestle closer to the group, you feel a surprising sense of safety, like the tribe itself is tucking you in. You're lying on your hide, the teepee's leather walls glowing faintly from the fire outside. Tribes like the Cree and Blackfoot often slept in tight-knit groups, sharing warmth and security in a world where danger, be it weather or wildlife, was never far off. Historians note that communal sleeping, common across many Native American cultures before 1000 AD, fostered trust and emotional closeness, which deepened rest. You're feeling it now, the steady breaths of others syncing with yours, like a human metronome for sleep. It's not claustrophobic, it's comforting, like being part of a living, breathing quilt. The sensory details pull you deeper. The soft rustle of hides mixes with the occasional murmur or sleepy chuckle, creating a soundscape that's oddly soothing. You feel the warmth radiating from nearby bodies, a natural heater that makes the teepee's cool air irrelevant. Here's an outlandish trivia question. Did you know some tribes believed sleeping close together shared dream energy, blending everyone's visions into a collective story? Answer: yep, and you're half hoping you'll wake up with someone else's epic buffalo chasing dream instead of your usual lost my keys nonsense. You're chuckling quietly, trying not to wake the kid curled up nearby. Now, picture the setup. You're shown how sleeping spots were arranged, elders near the center for warmth, kids tucked between adults for protection. The layout wasn't random, it was a map of relationships, with each person's place reinforcing their role in the group. You're starting to see why this beats your solitary mattress, where the only company is your phone's glow. Historians still wonder if communal sleeping improved sleep quality through physical warmth or emotional security, but you're betting on both. Your body's relaxed, your mind's at ease, and you're feeling safer than you did after that sweat lodge steam. The practical side is clever. You notice how the group's body heat keeps the teepee cozy, reducing the need for a roaring fire that might choke you with smoke. It's energy efficient, like a prehistoric version of a smart thermostat. The closeness also meant someone was always half awake, listening for trouble, a built-in security system. You're reminded of the dreamcatcher's guard, the lunar rhythms, the smudging calm, all layering into this moment of shared rest. Jokes on modern sleep pods that promise isolation for relaxation, these folks knew togetherness was the real secret sauce. The communal vibe isn't just physical, it's emotional. You're told stories of how sleeping together soothed fears, especially after a tough day of hunting or mourning a loss. You're feeling that now, the group's presence like a balm for your 21st century anxieties. You shift slightly, your hide crinkling, and catch a whiff of sage from someone's smudged blanket. It's all connected, the tea, the lodge, the songs, building a web of calm that's got you sinking fast. And here's a light jab. If you think your noise-canceling headphones are peak sleep tech, try a tribe's worth of snores that's been lulling folks to rest since 2000 BC. You can't help but grin at the thought of pitching this to your friends. Hey, let's all sleep in one room for better vibes. They'd probably call the cops, but you get it. This isn't just about sleep, it's about belonging, about knowing you're part of something bigger than your own tossing and turning. The teepee feels alive, its walls pulsing with the group's quiet breaths. Your eyelids are heavy, the stars peeking through the vent like old friends. You're drifting, carried by the tribe's warmth, ready for whatever sleep hack comes next to seal the deal. You're still enveloped in the teepee's communal warmth, the soft snores of your tribal companions blending into a soothing hum, like a lullaby from the earth itself. The dreamcatcher overhead sways gently, and the faint sage scent from last night's smudging clings to your buffalo hide. But now, your ears catch a new sound, a distant river's gurgle, joined by the rustle of wind through pines. You're about to discover how Native Americans harness nature's white noise, using the land's own soundtrack to lull them into sleep so deep, your noise machine might as well retire. As you listen, the sounds weave around you, pulling you toward rest like a gentle current. You're lying back, the teepee's leather walls muffling the sharper edges of the night but letting the river's murmur slip through. Tribes like the Shoshone and Algonquin often chose campsites near water or in windy valleys, not just for resources but for their acoustic magic. Historians note that natural sounds, rivers, breezes, even crickets, were prized for calming the mind, a practice rooted in centuries of observation. The river's steady flow mimics your heartbeat, slowing your pulse without you even trying. You're feeling it now, your breaths deepening as the water's rhythm washes away stray thoughts, like mental driftwood. The sensory experience is a quiet symphony. The river's burble is constant but varied, like a conversation you don't need to join. Overhead, the wind teases the teepee's flaps, adding a soft whoosh that feels like the night breathing with you. You're told to focus on these sounds, letting them anchor you to the moment. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some Plains tribes believed river sounds carried messages from water spirits, guiding sleepers to peaceful dreams. You're chuckling at the thought of your local creek whispering life advice while you snooze. Maybe it'd tell you to finally unclog that drain. Now, Picture the intentionality. You're shown how the campsite's placement wasn't random. Tribes picked spots where natural sounds were loud enough to soothe but not so overpowering they'd wake you. A river too close might flood, too far, and you'd miss its lullaby. It's like Goldilocks for acoustics, and they nailed it. Historians still wonder if these soundscapes worked by drowning out disruptive noises or by triggering a primal relaxation response. You're betting on both, especially as the wind's hum blends with the communal snores from last night's lesson, creating a sound bath that's got you halfway to dreamland. The practical side is pure genius. You notice how the teepee's design amplifies the good sounds, water, wind, while its thick hides block out pesky distractions, like a fox's yip or a branch snapping. It's nature's noise-canceling headphones, no batteries required. You're reminded of the sweat lodge's steam, the dreamcatcher's guard, the tea's warmth, all deliberate choices building toward rest. The river's gurgle feels like an extension of that lunar rhythm you learned, syncing you with the land's pulse. Jokes on modern sleep apps with their forest stream tracks. These folks had the real thing, mastered since 1000 BC. The communal angle weaves in subtly. You're not the only one soothed by the river. Others in the teepee shift contentedly, their breaths aligning with the water's flow. It's a shared experience, like the group sleeping or storytelling, reinforcing the tribe's bond even in sleep. You're starting to miss this unity, so different from your solo nights with only a fan's drone for company. Your body's heavy, the buffalo hide cradling you as the wind hums a soft encore. And here's a light jab. If you think your $200 sound machine is cutting edge, try a river that's been singing lullabies for free since the stars were young. You can't help but smirk at the thought of pitching this to your co-workers. Yeah, I'm moving my bed to the creek for better sleep. They'd probably call it a midlife crisis, but you know better. This isn't just about sound, it's about letting the land hold you, about trusting its voice to guide you to rest. The teepee feels like a cocoon, the river and wind its lullaby. Your eyelids droop, the stars through the vent blurring into soft light. You're drifting, carried by nature's song, ready for the next sleep hack to deepen this ancient calm. The river's gentle gurgle still echoes in your ears, blending with the teepee's quiet warmth as you sink deeper into your buffalo hide. The dreamcatcher overhead sways like a silent sentinel, and the communal snores around you feel like a soft anchor. But now, a new ritual stirs your curiosity. An elder speaks of fasting, not for hardship but for rest. You're about to uncover how Native Americans used controlled fasting as a surprising sleep hack, tuning their bodies for rest so profound, your late-night snack raids might need a rethink. As you consider skipping tonight's meal, the air feels charged with purpose, and you're ready to explore this counterintuitive path to slumber. You're sitting cross-legged by the fire's fading glow, the elder explaining how tribes like the Lakota and Hopi used fasting to cleanse body and mind before sleep. Historians confirm that short, intentional fasts, often lasting a day or two, were common, especially before spiritual events or to prepare for deep rest. Fasting wasn't about starvation, it was about resetting, letting the body focus on repair instead of digestion. You're feeling a pang of hunger just thinking about it, but the elder's calm voice promises a clarity that makes sleep richer. Your stomach grumbles, but your curiosity's louder. The sensory shift is subtle but striking. Without food, your senses sharpen. The fire's smoky scent is crisper, the river's hum more vivid. You're handed a sip of water, cool and clean, which feels like a luxury now. Here's a zany detail. Some tribes believed fasting opened a channel to dream visions, making sleep a gateway to spiritual insights. You're chuckling at the thought of your usual pizza-fueled dreams, probably just reruns of bad sitcoms, being replaced by epic quests guided by fasting's clarity. Your body feels lighter already, like it's shedding more than just last night's dew. Now, picture the process. You're told to fast from sundown to sundown, focusing on water and rest. The elder says this calms the gut, which calms the mind, a domino effect for better sleep. Modern science nods along. Fasting can lower cortisol and boost melatonin, priming you for rest. You're starting to see why this beats your midnight fridge raids, which usually end in regret and heartburn. Historians still debate whether fasting sleep benefits came from physiology or the spiritual focus it demanded, but you're feeling both. Your mind's quieter, like the clutter of the day's been swept away, leaving room for dreams. The practical side is humbling. You notice the tribe's discipline. Nobody's sneaking berries, everyone's in this together. The fast is short, not punishing, designed to enhance rest without weakening the body for tomorrow's hunt. You're reminded of the sweat lodge's cleanse, the river's lullaby, the communal sleeping, all intentional acts building toward rest. Fasting fits right in, a reset that syncs you with the land's rhythm, like the lunar cycles you learned earlier. Jokes on modern diet fads that promise detox with $10 juices, these folks mastered it with nothing but willpower and a river's gift. The communal vibe shines again. You're not fasting alone. Others join, their quiet focus creating a shared strength. It's like the group sleeping or smudging, a collective act that makes you feel held, even without food. You're starting to miss this unity, so different from your solo late-night snacking while doom scrolling. Your body's settling, the hunger softening into a strange calm. And here's a light jab. If you think your protein shake is peak wellness, try a fast that's been fine-tuning sleep since 1000 BC. You're smirking at the thought of pitching this to your gym bro friends. Yeah, I skipped dinner for better dreams. They'd probably faint before the first pang. As you lie back, the teepee feels like a sanctuary, the fasting's clarity sharpening its warmth. The dream catcher above seems to hum with approval, and you catch a whiff of sage from a nearby blanket. Your eyelids are heavy, the world softening as the river's song lingers. You're drifting, carried by this ancient discipline, ready for the next sleep hack to deepen the calm. You can't help but grin at the thought of explaining this at work. No lunch, just vibes and visions. Good luck with that. For now, the stars peek through the vent, and you're sinking into a rest that feels like a gift from the ages. The fasting's quiet clarity still hums through you, your body light and your mind sharp as you rest on your buffalo hide in the teepee's gentle glow. The river's murmur lingers from last night, and the dream catcher above sways like a whispered promise. But now, as you close your eyes, a new presence stirs, not in the teepee, but in your mind's eye. You're about to explore how Native Americans welcomed animal spirit guides into their dreams, a sleep hack that turned rest into a sacred journey, making your dream journal look like a grocery list. As you sink toward sleep, a shadowy wolf flickers in your thoughts, and you're ready to follow its lead into the dream world. You're lying back, the teepee's warmth cradling you as the elder's voice from earlier echoes, stories of spirit animals guiding sleepers through visions. Tribes like the Ojibwe and Sioux believed animals, wolves, owls, bears, appeared in dreams to offer wisdom or protection, especially during deep rest. Historians note that these beliefs, rooted in traditions before 500 AD, made sleep a spiritual quest, not just downtime. You're imagining that wolf now, its eyes glinting like the stars through the teepee's vent. It's not scary, it's inviting, like a friend who knows the best trails through the night. The sensory pull is vivid, even in your half-dream state. You feel the wolf's presence, its fur brushing the air, its low growl blending with the river's hum. The teepee's smoky scent, laced with sage from the smudging ritual, grounds you as you drift. Here's an oddball fact. Some tribes believe dreaming of a specific animal, like an eagle, meant it chose you as a guide, shaping your sleep and waking life. You're chuckling at the thought of your usual dreams, probably about forgetting your Zoom password, being upstaged by an eagle soaring through your subconscious. You're already hoping for a cool guide, not, say, a grumpy badger. Now, picture the preparation. You're told to set an intention before sleep, asking for an animal's guidance. Maybe you whisper a quiet request for courage, picturing that wolf. The elder says this focus opens your mind, making dreams richer and rest deeper. It's like lucid dreaming, but with a spiritual twist. Historians still wonder if these dream guides improved sleep by giving it purpose or by calming fears through symbolic protection. You're feeling both. The wolf's presence is steadying, like the communal sleeping you learned, making the night feel safe. Your body's heavy, your breath slowing as the dream world beckons. The practical side is subtle but powerful. You notice how the fasting's clarity sharpens your focus, making it easier to invite the wolf into your thoughts. The teepee's quiet, the river's song, the smudging's calm, all these hacks layer together, creating a perfect stage for vivid dreams. You're reminded of the sweat lodge's cleanse, the lunar rhythms, the tea's warmth, all building toward this moment where sleep isn't just rest but a journey. Jokes on modern dream apps that track your REM cycles. These folks were navigating dreamscapes with spirit guides since 1000 BC. The communal thread weaves in, too. You're not the only one seeking dream guides. Others in the teepee murmur their own intentions, their voices soft as the wind. It's a shared ritual, like the storytelling or fasting, tying the tribe's dreams together. You're starting to miss this connection, so different from your solo night staring at a screen. Your mind's drifting, the wolf's silhouette growing clearer. And here's a light jab. If you think your meditation app's guided imagery is deep, try a wolf leading you through dreams that's been at it since the stars were new. You're smirking at the thought of telling your therapist, "My new sleep coach is a wolf." Yeah, that'd raise some eyebrows. As you slip closer to sleep, the teepee feels like a portal, the dream catcher overhead humming with energy. The wolf waits, its eyes steady, and you feel safe, like the night's holding you in its paws. You catch a whiff of cedar from a nearby blanket, tying you back to the tea and lodge. Your eyelids are heavy, the world blurring as the river's hum fades. You're drifting, carried by the wolf's quiet strength, ready for the next sleep hack to deepen this sacred rest. The stars wink through the vent, and you're sinking into a dream that feels like a gift from the ancients. The wolf's shadow still lingers in your dreamscape, its steady gaze guiding you back to the teepee's warmth as you stir on your buffalo hide. The river's soft hum and the dreamcatcher's gentle sway anchor you, while the communal snores weave a familiar comfort. But now, you notice the air's bite, autumn's creeping in, and the campsite feels different, alive with change. You're about to explore how Native Americans adjusted their sleep to the seasons, a sleep hack that kept rest in harmony with nature's shifts, making your thermostat-tweaked bedroom seem like a lazy shortcut. As you pull your hide tighter, you're ready to learn how the land shaped slumber through the year's turning wheel. You're sitting up, the teepee's leather walls rustling as a cool breeze sneaks through the flaps. Tribes like the Cheyenne and Navajo didn't fight the seasons, they leaned into them, tweaking sleep to match the land's demands. Historians confirm that seasonal changes, observed since at least 1000 BC, dictated rest patterns. Longer sleeps in winter's dark months conserved energy, while summer's long days meant shorter, lighter rest for hunting. Right now, the fall chill calls for extra hides and a tighter teepee seal, and you're feeling the cozy pull of a longer night's rest, like nature's nudging you to hibernate. The sensory shift is vivid. The air smells of crisp leaves and distant snow, mingling with the teepee's smoky warmth. You hear the wind's sharper whistle, tempered by the river's steady gurgle from earlier. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some woodland tribes believed falls breezes carried ancestor spirits, urging deeper sleep to hear their wisdom. You're chuckling at the thought of your own fall naps, probably fueled by pumpkin spice lattes, being outdone by ancestral whispers in the wind. Your body's settling, the extra hide layering you like a toasty burrito, ready for a sleep that feels earned. Now, picture the adjustments. You're shown how the teepee's flaps are lowered, trapping heat as the fires stoke higher. In summer, you'd sleep under lighter covers, maybe even outside under the stars, like that first starlit campsite. The elder explains that winter meant sleeping closer together, like the communal vibe you loved, to share warmth. It's practical but profound, syncing rest with survival. Historians still wonder if these shifts boosted sleep quality or just reflected necessity, but you're feeling both. The chill's bite makes the hide's warmth sweeter, and your mind's easing into the season's rhythm. The practical side is ingenious. You notice how the tribe stores extra hides for winter, like a prehistoric linen closet, ensuring no one shivers through the night. Food's rationed differently, too, tying back to the fasting you tried. Less feasting in lean months means lighter stomachs for better rest. You're reminded of the dreamcatcher's guard, the sweat lodge's cleanse, the wolf's guidance, all deliberate choices weaving sleep into the land's pulse, like the lunar cycles. Jokes on modern sleep schedules that ignore the seasons. These folks were syncing with nature's calendar since the stars were young. The communal thread binds it all. You're not adapting alone. Others huddle closer, their breaths visible in the cool air. It's a shared effort, like the smudging or storytelling, making the season's challenges feel lighter. You're starting to miss this unity, so different from your solo battles with a finicky heater. Your body's heavy, the hide's weight grounding you as the wind hums a crisp lullaby. And here's a light jab. If you think your seasonal affective disorder lamp is clever, try a tribe that's been outsmarting winter blues with sleep hacks since 2000 BC. You're smirking at the thought of pitching this to your coworkers. Yeah, I'm hibernating for better vibes. They'd probably think you've lost it. As you sink back, the teepee feels like a fortress against the fall chill. The fire's glow a quiet promise. The dream catcher overhead seems to nod, and you catch a whiff of sage from a nearby blanket, tying you to earlier rituals. Your eyelids droop, the world softening as the river's hum blends with the wind. You're drifting, carried by the season's rhythm, ready for the final sleep hack to seal this ancient wisdom. You can't help but grin at the thought of explaining this at home. Just piling on blankets and sleeping like it's 1000 BC. For now, the stars peek through the vent, and you're sinking into a rest that feels timeless. The autumn chill still brushes your skin as you nestle deeper into your buffalo hide, the teepee's warmth holding you like a trusted friend. The river's hum, the dream catcher's sway, and the communal breaths around you weave a familiar calm, seasoned now by the fall's crisp edge. You're about to reflect on the legacy of Native American sleep hacks, blending their timeless wisdom with the modern quest for rest. This isn't just a look back, it's a bridge to better sleep, a final gift from the ancestors that makes your sleepless nights seem like a solvable puzzle. As you settle in, the stars through the teepee's vents seem to whisper, urging you to carry these lessons forward. You're lying back, the fire's embers casting a soft glow as you replay the journey. From the starlit campsite's careful design to the smudging smoky calm, each hack was a thread in a tapestry of rest. Tribes like the Lakota, Cherokee, and Ojibwe, thriving since 1000 BC, didn't just sleep, they crafted it, using nature, community, and spirit. Historians agree their methods, lunar syncing, herbal teas, communal sleeping, were rooted in survival but doubled as wellness long before the term existed. You're feeling it now, your body heavy from the sweat lodge's cleanse, your mind quiet from the wolf's dream guidance. It's like you've been handed a playbook for rest, and you're itching to try it at home. The sensory world ties it together. The teepee's leather scent, laced with sage and cedar, grounds you. The river's gurgle, a constant since you learned its lullaby, blends with the wind's soft howl, reminding you of nature's white noise. Here's a zany detail. Some tribes believed sleep was a gift from the Great Spirit, a daily renewal to honor with care. You're chuckling at the thought of your own sleep routine, probably scrolling TikTok till 2 a.m., being outdone by this sacred approach. Your hide cradles you, its warmth a callback to the buffalo's embrace, and you're sinking deeper, the season's rhythm still pulsing from last night. Now, picture blending these hacks with modern life. You could smudge your bedroom with sage, maybe skip the open flame to avoid a fire alarm fiasco. A dream catcher above your bed might filter out stress dreams about work emails. You're imagining a playlist of river sounds, though it'll never match the real thing. The communal vibe's trickier. Your friends might not sign up for group naps, but cozy movie nights could mimic that tribal bond. Historians still debate how much of Native American sleep wisdom survived colonization, but you're determined to revive what you can. Your mind's buzzing with ideas, yet calm, like the fasting's clarity, ready for rest that feels earned. The practical side is inspiring. You're thinking of seasonal tweaks, lighter blankets in summer, heavier ones in fall, like the tribe's hide layers. Herbal teas, maybe passion flower from a health store, could replace your late-night coffee. The lunar calendar's a fun challenge. You might track the moon's phases on your phone, though it's less poetic than sticks in a circle. You're reminded of every hack, the sweat lodge's steam, the lullaby's hum, the teepee's design, all building a rest so deep, it's like a warm river carrying you. Jokes on modern sleep tech with its $500 gadgets. These folks mastered rest with what the land gave them. The communal heart lingers. You're not just carrying lessons, you're carrying the tribe's spirit, their trust in each other and the earth. You're starting to miss that unity, so different from your solo Netflix binges. And here's a light jab. If you think your sleep tracker's cutting edge, try a wisdom that's been perfecting rest since 2000 BC. You're smirking at the thought of pitching this to your boss. I'm smudging the office for better naps. Good luck with that. For now, the teepee feels like home, the stars a quiet promise of peace. Your breath slows, each exhale softer, like leaves falling in the autumn dusk. The teepee's glow fades, the river's song now a whisper, blending with the wind's gentle sigh. You're wrapped in the hide, its weight a reminder of the buffalo's strength, the tribe's care. The dream catcher hums above, catching stray worries, letting only calm slip through. You're not just resting, you're held by the land, the stars, the wisdom of ages. The wolf from your dreams pads softly nearby, its eyes warm, guiding you deeper. There's no rush, no tomorrow to chase. The night is enough, it's quiet, vast and kind. Your eyelids flutter, heavy as twilight, and the world softens, edges blurring into warmth. Sleep comes like a tide, smooth and sure, carrying you to dreams where the tribe's songs still echo. You're safe, you're whole, and the stars are watching. Let go now, drift gently, and rest. As the teepee's warmth and the Cherokee's sleep wisdom fade into the night, let's linger a moment longer with their ancient voices. The stars still twinkle above, whispering tales older than the buffalo hides. Now, dear listeners, shift your hearts to a new story, one of creation itself, born from the Cherokee's sacred lore. This is no mere bedtime tale, but a journey to the dawn of the world, where water, animals, and spirits shape the earth we walk. So, snuggle deeper, let the night's hush cradle you, and let's turn the page to the Cherokee myth of how it all began. In the time before time, there was only chaos, a vast, endless expanse of water and darkness, where no land, no sky, no life could be found. The world was a formless void, a restless sea stretching beyond imagination, its surface unbroken by even a whisper of wind. Above this watery abyss hung a realm called Galunlati, a crowded sky vault where animals of every kind lived, pressed close together like seeds in a pod. Birds, bears, wolves, and beetles shared this lofty home, but it was too small, too cramped, for their restless spirits. They longed for space, for a place to stretch their wings and paws, though none knew what lay below the endless waves. The animals gathered, their voices a chorus of chirps, growls, and hums, debating who might explore the depths. None had ever ventured into the water's dark embrace, and fear rippled through them like a chill. Yet curiosity burned brighter, for the promise of a new world called to their hearts. This was the Cherokee's tale of creation, a story passed down through countless generations, told by firesides to explain how the earth came to be. It was a story of courage, of small creatures doing great deeds, and of a world born from the smallest spark of hope. By the way, the Cherokee's creation myth shares similarities with other Native American stories, emphasizing animals as co-creators of the world, a reflection of their deep respect for nature. This tale, rooted in oral tradition before 1000 BC, was more than myth. It was a guide for living in harmony with the earth. As the animals in Galunlati peered into the watery void, they stood on the edge of something vast, something that would change everything forever. The animals of Galunlati huddled together, their eyes fixed on the shimmering water far below their sky realm. Feathers ruffled, tails twitched, and murmurs filled the air as they debated their crowded plight. The eagle, with its piercing gaze, declared the sky too small for soaring. The bear, heavy and grumbling, complained of no room to roam. Even the tiny hummingbird, darting nervously, chirped for a place to rest its wings. They all agreed, a new world must be found, but the question lingered, who would dare the unknown depths? The otter volunteered first, sleek and bold, diving into the water with a splash. Down and down it swam, through currents cold and dark, but the bottom eluded its paws, and it returned, gasping, with nothing to show. The beaver tried next, its broad tail slicing the waves, but it too surfaced empty-handed, weary from the endless plunge. One by one, the animals tested their courage, each returning with the same tale. The water was too deep, the darkness too vast. Hope began to fade, like a fire starved of wood, until a small voice piped up from the crowd. It was the water beetle, no larger than a pebble, its shiny shell glinting in the dim light. The others scoffed, how could such a tiny creature succeed where the mighty had failed? But the beetle's resolve was firm, its heart unafraid. With a quiet nod, it scuttled to the edge of Galunlati and prepared to dive, carrying the hopes of all who watched. The water beetle stood poised at the edge of Galunlati, its tiny form a speck against the vast, dark water below. Without hesitation, it leaped, plunging into the waves with a ripple so small it barely disturbed the surface. Down it dove, through layers of cold and shadow, where no light reached and the world felt like a dream without end. The animals above held their breath, their eyes straining to follow the beetle's path, though it had vanished into the deep. For what seemed an eternity, the beetle swam, its legs paddling tirelessly against the current. At last, its feet brushed something soft and strange, mud, hidden at the water's bottom. With fierce determination, it scooped a bit of this muddy treasure and began its long ascent. When it broke the surface, gasping but triumphant, the mud in its grasp began to grow, as if kissed by some unseen magic. It spread across the water, a small patch at first, but widening with every moment, like dough rising under a baker's hand. The animals of Galunlati watched in awe as the mud formed a floating island, the first hint of earth in the endless sea. The beetle, weary but proud, rested on its creation, its small act of courage sparking the world's beginning. Did you know? The Cherokee often saw small creatures like beetles as symbols of persistence, reflecting their belief that even the humblest could shape great change. The water beetle's dive was only the start, but it had set the stage for all that would follow. The mud brought by the water beetle floated on the water's surface, a fragile island in the vast sea. It grew steadily, spreading like a blanket unrolled by invisible hands, until it became a broad expanse of soft, wet earth. The animals of Galunlati peered down, their hearts stirring with hope, but the new land was too sodden, too unsteady for their weight. It quivered under the slightest touch, like a leaf trembling in the wind, and none dared set foot upon it. The Great Spirit, watching from above, sent help to shape this newborn world. The animals were tasked with drying the earth, but first it needed form. The task fell to the buzzard, whose wings were wide and strong, capable of carving paths through the sky. With a mighty flap, the buzzard descended from Galunlati, soaring over the muddy expanse. As it flew, its wings beat powerfully, stirring the air and pressing the earth below. Where its wings dipped low, valleys sank. Where they rose, mountains pushed upward, giving the land its first shapes. The buzzard flew tirelessly, its shadow a fleeting artist painting the world's contours. By the time it returned to Galunlati, exhausted but fulfilled, the earth bore ridges and hollows, a canvas ready for life. Here's an interesting fact. Cherokee storytellers often described the Appalachian Mountains, their homeland, as the work of the buzzard's wings, tying their myths to the land they cherished. The earth was taking shape, but it still needed light to truly awaken. The earth, now shaped with mountains and valleys, lay soft and damp under the endless water's edge. The buzzard's wings had carved its form, but the land remained too wet, a soggy cradle unfit for the animals of Galunlati. The Great Spirit called upon the elements to aid the task, and the winds answered, sweeping across the mud to dry its surface. Slowly, the earth hardened, its surface firm enough to hold the weight of life, though it still lacked the spark of warmth and light. The animals gathered once more, their eyes scanning the new land below. It was vast and promising, but shrouded in darkness, for no sun or moon yet graced the sky. They knew the earth needed light to thrive, to coax growth from its soil and guide their steps. The Council of Animals debated where to place a source of light, their voices rising in a clamor of ideas. Some called for a light fixed in one spot, others for one that moved to share its glow evenly. At last, they agreed to create a sun, a radiant orb to bring life to the world. With the Great Spirit's guidance, the animals fashioned the sun, a blazing circle of fire and warmth. They set it in the sky, eager to see its effect on the earth below. The land, once formless mud, now stood ready to receive this gift, its mountains and valleys waiting to bask in the light of creation's next step. The sun hung newly in the sky, its fiery glow casting light across the earth's mountains and valleys, sculpted by the buzzard's wings. The animals of Galunlati watched from above, marveling as shadows danced across the land, revealing its contours in sharp relief. The water beetle's mud had become a world, firm and vast, but the sun's placement sparked debate. Where should it rest to best serve the earth? The animals argued, some favoring the east, others the west, until they agreed to let it travel, rising and setting to share its warmth with all. The sun began its journey, climbing from the eastern horizon and arcing across the sky. But its path was too low, its heat too fierce, scorching the earth below. Rivers dried to trickles, and the new land cracked under the relentless blaze. The animals, alarmed, gathered again, their voices tinged with urgency. The sun must be raised, they decided, but the task was perilous, requiring strength and sacrifice. The Great Spirit watched, silent, as the animals prepared to adjust the sky's fiery gift. Here's a trivia question, winner. Did you know the Cherokee's story of the sun's placement reflects their observation of seasonal changes, with the sun's path shifting to balance heat and cold? This practical wisdom shaped their farming and hunting. The earth, now bathed in light, teetered on the edge of ruin, waiting for a brave soul to restore its harmony. The sun blazed too close to the earth, its heat turning the land to a parched wasteland where no life could take root. The mountains, shaped by the buzzard, shimmered with unbearable warmth, and the valleys, once soft with water beetles' mud, hardened into cracked clay. The animals of Galunlati, their hope dimming, knew the sun's path must be lifted higher, but the task was daunting. Who could approach such a fiery orb and survive its wrath? The council fell silent, each creature weighing the cost of courage. At last, the crawfish stepped forward, its small body armored with a hard shell, its claws steady despite the sun's glare. The animals watched, doubtful yet hopeful, as the crawfish scuttled across the earth and climbed toward the sky. With great effort, it pushed the sun higher, nudging it to a gentler arc. The heat lessened, the rivers began to flow again, and the land sighed in relief. But the crawfish paid a price, its shell scorched red, and it fell away, leaving the creature soft and vulnerable. The crawfish sacrifice saved the earth, its new red hue a mark of honor. By the way, the Cherokee often saw crawfish in their rivers, their red shells a living reminder of this myth, tying the story to the land they fished and farmed. With the sun now balanced, the earth stood ready for the next gift of creation. With the sun lifted to its proper height by the crawfish sacrifice, the earth basked in a gentle warmth, its mountains and valleys softened by light and shadow. The rivers flowed once more, their waters sparkling under the sun's measured glow, and the land, born from water beetles' mud, hummed with potential. The animals of Galunlati looked down, their hearts swelling with pride, but the earth remained bare, a canvas of dirt and stone waiting for life's touch. The Great Spirit, sensing the moment, called for the next phase of creation. From the earth's soil sprouted the first plants, grasses that swayed like green waves, vines that curled like curious fingers, and trees that stretched toward the sun. Cedars, oaks, and pines rose, their roots anchoring deep into the buzzard's valleys, their leaves whispering in the wind. The land transformed, no longer a barren expanse but a vibrant home ready to cradle life. The animals watched, their eyes wide, as the earth bloomed with colors and scents, a garden born from the Great Spirit's will. Historical fact side note: the Cherokee revered plants like cedar and tobacco, using them in ceremonies, a practice reflected in their myths where plants are sacred gifts. The earth, now green and alive, stood as a testament to creation's power, its forests and fields waiting for the animals to claim their place. The earth, now cloaked in greenery, shimmered under the sun's balanced light, its forests and fields a vibrant tapestry woven by the Great Spirit. Cedars whispered secrets to the wind, and grasses bowed gently in the valleys shaped by the buzzard. The animals of Galunlati, still crowded in their sky realm, gazed upon this new world with longing. The time had come to leave their cramped home and descend to the earth, to walk its soil and breathe its air. The Great Spirit nodded, granting their wish, and a path opened from sky to land. One by one, the animals descended. The eagle soared first, its wings slicing the air as it claimed the mountain peaks. The bear lumbered down, its paws sinking into the soft earth of the forests. Wolves howled as they roamed the valleys, and the hummingbird darted among the flowers, its wings a blur of joy. Even the water beetle, hero of the mud, found a home in the rivers, its shell glinting in the sun. The earth welcomed them all, its vastness a stark contrast to Galunlati's confines, each creature finding its place in the new world. Did you know? The Cherokee's emphasis on animals finding their place reflects their belief in balance, where every creature has a role in the ecosystem. The earth, now alive with movement and sound, pulsed with the harmony of its new inhabitants, ready for the next chapter of creation. The earth thrummed with life as animals roamed its forests, mountains, and rivers, each finding its niche under the sun's gentle arc. The greenery, born from the Great Spirit's touch, swayed in harmony with the creatures who now called the land home. But the world felt incomplete, as if a vital piece of the Great Spirit's plan remained unspoken. The animals, content yet curious, sensed a new creation stirring, one that would share the earth's bounty and walk its paths with purpose. The Great Spirit, with care and deliberation, formed the first humans, a man and a woman, crafted to live in balance with the land. They emerged from the earth itself, their bodies shaped from the same soil that bore the trees and grasses. The man, strong and thoughtful, looked to the mountains with wonder. The woman, wise and nurturing, knelt to touch the flowers, her heart tied to the earth's rhythm. Together, they were tasked with tending the world, honoring its gifts, and living in harmony with the animals and plants. Here's an interesting fact. Cherokee myths often portray humans as caretakers, reflecting their agricultural traditions, like growing corn, which sustained their communities. The first man and woman stood upon the earth, their eyes bright with the promise of a shared life, as the world prepared for its final balance. The earth, now home to animals, plants, and the first humans, glowed with life under the sun's measured light. The man and woman walked the land, learning its ways, how to fish the rivers, gather berries, and honor the animals who shared their world. But the sun's daily journey, rising in the east and setting in the west, left the earth in darkness each night, a time of rest but also mystery. The animals and humans alike felt the need for balance, a rhythm to guide both day and night. The Great Spirit, hearing their silent plea, created the moon, a silver orb to light the night and complement the sun. The moon rose softly, its cool glow casting shadows across the buzzard's mountains and the water beetle's rivers. Day and night found harmony, each with its own light, ensuring rest for the weary and guidance for the dreamers. The humans gazed at the moon, their hearts eased by its quiet presence, while the animals slept soundly under its watch. By the way, the Cherokee used lunar cycles to time planting and ceremonies, a practice woven into their myths as a gift of balance. With day and night in harmony, the earth spun smoothly, its rhythm set, ready for the Great Spirit's final touch to complete the world's creation. The earth now pulsed with balance, day lit by the sun, night softened by the moon, and life thriving in the greenery, animals, and humans who shared its bounty. The man and woman learned to live with the land, building homes from the trees and giving thanks for the river's fish and the field's harvests. The animals, from the eagle to the water beetle, coexisted with them, each honoring the roles set by the Great Spirit. Yet the world, though vibrant, needed a final seal, a touch to ensure its harmony endured. The Great Spirit descended, its presence a gentle hum that stilled the winds and quieted the rivers. It walked the earth, touching the mountains, the forests, and the valleys, blessing each with strength and beauty. To the humans, it gifted wisdom, urging them to care for the land and respect its creatures. To the animals, It gave instincts to thrive in their homes, from the highest peak to the deepest stream. The earth, born from chaos, now stood complete, a world of balance and wonder. Historical fact side note: the Cherokees' emphasis on balance reflects their clan system, where roles were assigned to maintain community harmony, much like the myth's vision of the world. The Great Spirit stepped back, its work done, leaving the earth to spin in its eternal dance. The earth, blessed by the Great Spirit, shone with a quiet beauty, its mountains standing tall, its rivers flowing clear, and its forests alive with the songs of birds and the rustle of leaves. The humans, guided by wisdom, built their lives in harmony, planting seeds in the valleys and offering thanks for each harvest. The animals, from the bear in the woods to the crawfish in the streams, thrived in their places, each a thread in the world's intricate weave. The sun and moon kept their rhythm, day and night a seamless cycle of work and rest. The Cherokee people, who told this story, saw the earth as a living gift, its creation a reminder of their duty to protect it. They honored the water beetle's courage, the buzzard's flight, and the crawfish sacrifice, weaving these lessons into their lives. The humans in the myth became their ancestors, their actions a model for living with respect and gratitude. The world, once a formless sea, now pulsed with purpose, its balance a testament to the Great Spirit's vision. Here's a trivia question winner. Did you know that Cherokee's creation story was often told during winter, a time for reflection and teaching? The earth, complete and harmonious, stood as a legacy, its story a guide for generations to come. The Cherokee people gathered around fires, their voices soft as they recounted the creation of the world, passing the story from elder to child. The tale of the water beetle's dive, the buzzard's wings, and the crawfish sacrifice was more than a myth, it was a map for living. It taught them to honor the small, to respect the land, and to seek balance in all things. The earth, shaped by these acts, remained a sacred trust, its rivers and mountains a reminder of the Great Spirit's gifts. The humans in the story, the first man and woman, became symbols of responsibility. They tended the earth, just as the Cherokee tended their fields of corn and beans, their lives intertwined with the seasons. The animals, too, were kin, their roles in creation mirrored in the respect given to the deer hunted or the eagle revered. The sun and moon, guiding day and night, reminded the people to rest and rise in harmony, their lives a dance with the world's rhythms. Did you know? The Cherokee's oral traditions, like this myth, were preserved despite centuries of hardship, a testament to their resilience. The creation story lived on, its lessons shaping a people who saw themselves as part of the earth, not its masters, their hearts tied to the legacy of a world born from water and courage. The Cherokee's creation story ended with the earth complete, a world of mountains, rivers, and life, all bound by the Great Spirit's balance. The water beetle's mud became the land, the buzzard's wings carved its form, and the crawfish sacrifice tempered the sun. Plants grew, animals descended, and humans learned to care for their home, guided by the sun and moon's eternal rhythm. The story, told under starlit skies, reminded the Cherokee of their place in the world, a people born from its soil, tasked with its care. This myth, cherished through generations, was a call to live with gratitude, to honor the small acts that shape great change, and to walk softly on the earth. The Cherokee carried its lessons in their hearts, their lives a reflection of the harmony first set in motion when the water beetle dove into the deep. The world, born from chaos, stood as a gift, its beauty a reminder of creation's enduring power. Now, as the fire's embers fade, let the story settle like soft earth under a quiet sky. Picture the mountains, their peaks kissed by moonlight, and the rivers, flowing gently through the night. The animals rest, the humans dream, and the Great Spirit watches, its presence a warm, silent embrace. The world spins on, its balance unbroken, its beauty a lullaby for the weary. Close your eyes, dear listeners, and let the earth's rhythm carry you. The stars glow softly, the night is kind, and sleep waits like a friend. Drift now, gently, into dreams where the water beetle still swims, and rest in the world's ancient peace.